Good day and welcome to the Beam, where curiosity meets conversations, taking us a step further into the future we desire. I'm your host, Tunes Nathaniel, and I'm thrilled to have you join us today as we navigate through the ever-changing world. One thing remains very clear: the future belongs to those who can innovate, collaborate, and dare to dream bigger. Today's topic touches on just that: FinTech, startups, and the AI revolution. Can Nigeria lead the way in job creation? Nigeria is Africa's largest economy, and everybody knows that. And our innovators are making waves locally and internationally. From FinTech to artificial intelligence, we are seeing a shift that promises to redefine job markets and boost economic growth. But the question remains: can Nigeria in and of itself have the potential? Can we use that potential to do a global leadership, joining the world to unpack everything and make sure that we have jobs for all those who need jobs? Joining me right now to unpack the ambitious vision is the true trailblazer. He's Mr. Tope Amujo, a visionary fintech innovator and founder based in the UK. Mr. Amujo is the CEO of FinREMIT, a company that is revolutionizing the way diaspora remittances are utilized. Through FinREMIT, he's promoting financial education, enabling saving solutions, and directing funds into productive ventures that drive sustainable global development. Mr. Amujo, there's so much to say. You're welcome to the program.
Yeah. Thank you very much. It's good to be with you again, Nathaniel.
All right, you might need to unmute yourself.
Yeah, thank you very much.
There's so much to say about what you've been doing, and it's beautiful. Like we said, we have many people in the diaspora who are doing excellently well, and they're trying to make sure that, hey, back home things also work. So let's get straight into it. Let's begin with the broader picture, right? It says FinTech has been called generally the golden ticket of Africa's economic revolution. You know, from your perspective, I want you to tell us, how has the industry evolved and what makes it a key driver for job creation even in the now?
Oh, yes. As we all know that FinTech is now an enabler in globally, and the sector is worth over 79 billion.
Mr. Amujo, I think you might need to unmute again. Be very, I think, yeah, we want you to speak.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, clearly. Beautiful. Let's go.
Okay, brilliant. So thank you very much. I'm sorry for that. Yes, the FinTech industry is globally valued at over 229 billion as at 2023. And the revenue alone in this sector is up to 79.9 billion in 2023 globally. So it is a very great potential that can drive job creation, and Nigeria should take advantage of this sector to create jobs. So we know that the unemployment rate in Nigeria is over 33%, and the unemployment crisis can be tackled by leveraging on FinTech as a job creation engine. Nigerian FinTech sector contributes 4 billion to the national GDP alone in 2022. So imagine how much of this is being projected as up to 10 billion by 2025. So look at companies like OPay, MoneyPoint, Momo of and even Paystack. They are creating a lot of jobs, not only for their company, people working for them as IT experts, but they are also enabling small businesses. MoneyPoint alone, 600,000 micro businesses were enabled through agents and the POS attendants. So if we pay attention to the FinTech industry, there is a great potential to create more jobs, not only for the FinTech startups, but also for the SMEs that's going to be enabled. Imagine we at FinREMIT, for instance, we're trying to also revolutionize remittance to support investment-ready SMEs in Nigeria, which we believe if SMEs are enabled and they are operationally efficient, more jobs will be created. Imagine the numbers of jobs where the micro businesses create in Nigeria. We can't compare the ratio with what civil service creates. So FinTech is a driver that not only enable operational efficiency, but also enhance productivity, profitability that would make businesses to want to employ more people to join them. So what are innovative ideas that we can look into in this? The government should pay serious attention, not only to regulating the FinTech, but also empower them. Because the more they are being empowered, the more their potential to create more jobs.
Okay, it's good that you have started there, but let's just bring you home a bit first before we go into the obstacles and the challenges when it comes to, fintech spaces, startups, and then the creation of jobs. Your work at FinREMIT is groundbreaking, promoting financial education and, redirecting diaspora funds into sustainable projects. How important is that for fintech companies to know, not just innovate, but drive the social impact? How important is that drive?
Yes, that is a very key point that needed to be put into consideration. FinTech are not only supposed to be innovator, they are not supposed to just be profit-oriented, but they are also supposed to be impact-driven. One thing that is very important that FinTech can help, FinTech startup can help globally and even in Nigeria as a whole, is driving financial inclusion. One good thing is if we are able to drive financial inclusion, ensure many people have access to financial services, there is going to be a significant growth driven by this inclusion, a growth in the economy, growth in the system, because most of the global system like the United Kingdom have been driven by credit systems, driven by their financial sector. United Kingdom is more like a service country. Compared to Nigeria, that is even production driven. So if fintech is explored extensively, it can be used to drive rural development. So rural development in the sense of internet access, in the sense of technology assessment, in the sense of financial inclusion. And all of these will help the system. And let me be frank with you. I also run a manufacturing factory in Nigeria, and I know how much of fund goes to rural women who are into shea butter processing. So what it implies is that if fintech can be integrated, and I remember most of the time when there was this cashless environment, most of these rural women were disconnected from the system in such a way that most of them go to the farm to buy their raw material with cash. So with the introduction of fintech, it will definitely drive more inclusion, more productivities for these women, and to a very large extent, it will be bringing financial empowerment to them. So I want to challenge fintech companies that as much as we are driving innovations, we are driving ideas that would try to revolutionize the way financial service is being delivered, we also need to look at the social impact we're going to create. One of these is climate financing. We are all aware. Look at what happened in California recently. So fintech should not just be centered on their primary activities of saying the service they want to deliver, but also look at how we can use some of our innovation to create social impact, environmental impact in one way or the other. There is no crime if a fintech is supporting the planting of trees. That is not out of point. And there are innovations that can be driven around that. So fintech founders, fintech innovators should not only center on exchange of funding as their primary service, rather we should be more innovative as well to see how we can drive social impact and environmental impact as much as possible.
All right, that's well said. Let's come to the real elephant in the room within the time. That is artificial intelligence, AI. It's shaking up the entire industry. And when we talk about fintech and the AI, revolution in Nigeria, basically, how do you see that transformation, that creation? How do you see that transformation coming in? Many people have been afraid. And we've been trying to really douse that fear. But people are still saying, hey, these things are going to take away our jobs. And so looking at fintech, looking at startups, how do you blend this and say, hey, AI can be a very key factor to make sure that production, and job creation is scaled to a higher level?
Thank you very much. I think that's a big elephant indeed. AI is something that is creating a lot of fear in the mind of people, most employees especially. But one thing I kept telling people is AI itself is a net job creator if it is properly harnessed both by the company using it and the employees that want to deliver job. One thing is that a lot of people believe when AI is fully integrated into workplaces, people will no longer be needed. I need to let you know, artificial intelligence needs human intelligence to operate effectively. One thing that is missing now is that most of humans, we are not even harnessing, we are using this artificial intelligence in a wrong way, in a manner that is now killing human intelligence. So imagine some people will go into the ChatGPT, just type, do this for me, copy it. Some don't even proofread what it has done for them. They just copy, paste, hook, line, and sinker. All of this is going to kill human intelligence as we progress. Not only that, it's going to take away jobs that we are afraid of now. But one thing that I kept telling people is, if you are to take adopt AI into your system, because AI it has come to stay. Let's be sincere to ourselves. It has come to stay. And it's contributing over 15 points, is expected to contribute 15.7 trillion to the global economy by 2030. So this is a driver of economic growth as we see it. But what can we now do to ensure that AI is not taking away our job? Number one, upskilling and reskilling. As employees, you need to upskill yourself. You can't continue to do it the same way it is done before. Now, FinTech companies do verifications of customers, onboarding of customers, do all of the customer checks, KYC checks that we do it with AI. So we look at your record and the AI gives us your position. It's also being used for credit scoring and the likes. So a lot of skill will no longer be needed, but upskilling will now be very important. So every employee should now start to upskill themselves. One, you need to start looking at machine learning. You need to start looking at AI intelligence. And that's why I like universities like the United Kingdom universities. They are now quickly adopting AI into their curriculum. And that is what the government of African countries should quickly do now. Like I saw someone running a PhD in AI and FinTech. What this implies is that we need to start integrating this into our curriculum so that people can upskill themselves promptly and they can now give a proper instruction to the artificial intelligence using human intelligence. But the truth remains that if you still want to be relevant in your workplace, you need to learn a new thing that align with the artificial intelligence that is in place now. Look at skills like data analysis, machine learning data analysis, machine learning financial analysis, and a lot of all of these things. Because no matter how much artificial intelligence is taking over, it also needs human intelligence to operate efficiently. So who are those humans that will make AI work? It is you and I that is upskilling, learning new things, and align with the trend in the tech sector.
All right. In fact, I wanted to ask you. I mean, how much of AI would you like to see? Like, if you're trying to do percentage-wise, how much of the people, how much of AI, how would you do that balancing in your own firm? How would you do that kind of a balancing?
Yeah. You see, there is some things that AI cannot do. So for me, if I would do the balancing in terms of adoption, it may likely be a 60-40, because let's be sincere, an average employer wants to maximize profits, minimize costs. But the truth remains that human role cannot be overemphasized. So if AI is going to do anything, let AI take care of 40 and let the human take care of the 60. If we say 50-50, then that's a balance. But to me, we still need 6 people to run 10 things that we need to do. Then let the AI enable us to do more. That is an ideal ratio that we are likely going to adopt in our organization. I know these 6 people will still need to work with artificial intelligence, but the truth about it is, if we want to, like some economy now, countries now are even looking at 80% of adoption of AI to run their operation, while 20% will do the human.
All right.
However, what happens to the 220 million population if AI is to do everything? So the adoption, the government policy should create an environment that does not, because I'm aware that even the United Kingdom still regulates the adoption of AI. There is this turn-it-in approach.
Okay. We're going to hold it there. We're going to hold it there quickly. It's fascinating. Yeah. I mean, fascinating insight so far. And if you're just joining us, we've been discussing how FinTech and the AI revolution could transform Nigeria into a global leader in job creation. And my guest is Mr. Temitope Amujo, who's a FinTech visionary. And we've really gone in-depth into this analysis. But now we are looking at the bottlenecks. You know, the guys who want to startups, the guys who want to go into FinTech. You know, what is the government supposed to do? How are policies? What are the obstacles that are going to be stopping many people from, you know, upscaling? What are the obstacles that are going to be making people, you know, move that business from wherever it is where it was last year to where it should be within the next 5 years? What are those things we should be looking out for right now?
Yeah, thank you very much for that. One thing I'm happy with Nigerians and Nigerian businesses is the ruggedness. We are very rugged. We are resilient, irrespective of the challenge. Imagine Nigerians lead Africa in startup funding with over 399 million pounds raised in 2023. And we can see what the likes of Paystack, Moneypoint, Flutterwave are doing in this ecosystem of raising funds. Yet, we still face a lot of challenges that will have made us unicorn, that will have even made Nigeria the Silicon Valley of Africa. And what are those challenges? Number one is infrastructure. For FinTech to run, not only FinTech, even startup generally, whether manufacturing, distribution, no matter what, infrastructure is very key to ensuring our growth, success. Infrastructure like power, infrastructure like good road system, infrastructure like broadband, all thanks to Elon Musk Starlinks, but that is still not enough. We could do more. I know internet will have not been an issue for an average business in the developed country like US, UK. So we need this infrastructure. Another thing is high operational cost. The economy presently is not friendly to startups, both FinTech and non-FinTech companies. The cost of operation is extremely high. Some of it is also leveraged on power, which is still part of infrastructure that we're talking about. High operational cost in terms of living cost. The living cost presently is so high that an average employee needs to earn more to live an average living standard that is expected. But what does the employer do? Can an employer increase the cost that will commensurate with the purchasing power that an average employee needed? That may not be very possible. So the point now is operational cost is increasing significantly. So employers will now need to find a way around it. And part of those issues costing, leading to higher operational cost is exchange rate. Exchange rate is also not very friendly as much as it is. And we still, no matter how it is, depend on exchange for some other things. Imagine a FinTech that is hosting its server in the US, in the UK. If there are enabling environments for Nigerian companies to also host their server without needing to exchange to pounds or dollar to pay for this huge sum, you know it's going to significantly save the operational cost. And another thing is access to venture capital. Unlike countries like India, China, and even Ghana, the access, and Kenya as well, the access that the Nigerian government creates for startups to gain venture capital is not enough. Let me tell you point blank, Nigeria is one of the high-risk investment area. Despite that fact, we are still raising as much as we've raised last year as startup. So what does the government need to do? There is a need for image laundering. There is a serious need for image laundering because investors coming to invest in Nigerian startups now are skeptical. Aside from the fact that when they invest and they want to exit, the cost, they are not looking at, they're looking at the exchange rate and they see it as not being favorable. Aside from that, Nigeria is one of the countries that has been on the red list of many countries, especially when it gets to integrity and the likes. So all of these, the government needs to come in to create an enabling environment that can assure guarantee. Let's not leave it for the startup alone to outsource for these venture capitalists. The Ministry of Trade, Investment, and all other ministry departments and agencies levied with the responsibility to tidy our image and ensure that innovations are being promoted by Nigerian government. We don't need to only say we want to export finished products that are physical. Yes, it's good to export agricultural commodities and the likes, but there is a talent in tech that have not been explored extensively by our government. So we need to create a system where startup clusters can be supported. We need to create an hub where affordable electricity, we can have a tech industry, we can have a tech estate. The government can tell every state government to establish tech estate in their region where power will be free, electricity will be free, internet will be free to all the tech providers. It's more like an hub, but a tech industry is bigger than an hub. Hub cannot do it alone. We have the likes of CC Hub and the likes, but we need to go away from talking about hub to tech industries, startup estates where people can come together to drive innovation. And the government can carry this innovation. I am aware that the Nigerian government had effort in this. There is what we call the technology incubation centers all around. But these technology incubation centers can still be enabled because their activity is not even well known to so many people. So for us to ensure that Nigerian startups scale up to become unicorns and make Nigeria a driver of innovation in Africa, the government needs to come in to support the effort of these private individuals by pushing us out as a product for export so that venture capitalists can come in. Infrastructure, operational costs drop down significantly. So there should be some incentive as well to startups that needed exchange rates that would reduce their operational costs to a significant BRS minimum. So all of these, I believe, if put in place, I am assuring us Nigeria can drive billions of pounds into the system through our startup, most especially the fintech companies.
All right, Mr. Amujo, I really could keep listening to you because you are really passionate about the fintech space, the tech space, and everything involved. I want to thank you. That's the much we can take on the program today. Thank you very much for coming to share, valuable insights. It's been an absolute pleasure having you on the program.
Thank you very much for having me once again.
All right. Yes, we've heard of the whole possibilities. We've heard of all that lies and off we discuss says, hey, innovation, collaboration, these things can work to make sure that jobs are provided for every Nigerian who is ready, to work. A change to lead and inspire is what we need. And that's why we have brought you all that. I'm hoping that people are listening, and I'm hoping people are ready to scale up because the future begins from now. I'm Sunes Nathaniel, and we're going to be leaving you with our top 5 videos of the week. As I always say, do not forget, continue to stay engaged, stay informed, stay ready. God bless Nigeria. Let us flourish. In 5th place, we see a one-on-one chat with Governor Abdullahi Sule of Nasarawa State. Coming forth on our list is a conversation in which Mr. Austin Sam George, a former commissioner in Rivers State, asserts that former Governor Nyesom Wike wants all the state's resources for his personal use.
What he's asking for is very clear, Jeffrey, and I want to be very clear to Nigerians who may be watching this. Nyesom Wike wants state resources to be diverted to his personal use.
In 3rd place, we see the national chairman of the SDP, Alhaji Shehu Gabam, revealing what he discussed with Malam Nasser El-Rufai in a recent meeting that stirred conversations. In 2nd place, we have a discussion over the return of the Zionist loots and other issues surrounding national security.
While America, yes, we commend them. But what are we doing with those within the country? How much have we covered? How much of them have been tried? How much of them have been sentenced?
Coming first on our countdown, activist Omoyele Sowore reveals the state of the nation and asserts that nothing special will come out of the proposed youth confab.
The people who are getting beaten by the economic situation regret everything about where the country is today. They cannot regret because they are the ones benefiting from it. One of the things the president said when he had a media chat I listened to, which was a total joke, was that he had a friend who had 4 Rolls Royces and now he's now driving a Honda car, right?
That's it on our countdown today. Join us next week for more.